you already know call map for each filter or reduce. You'll be a lot of times you'll be asked the difference for map and for each. Very important. So your for each. So these are all higher order functions, all right. These come under this functional programming paradigm order. But what you have to understand about these is that map returns a new array, right? So if you have an array, one more thing, these properties only work for arrays, right? So these methods are for arrays mostly. So if you use array new array and a plus 10. So when you do this, you're getting a new array assets, right? The new instance of an array. It doesn't modify the existing array. It makes a new array and then returns the new array. If you were to do with for each, you would get undefined as the answer because you're not really returning anything with for each. So a good use case of for each is when you want to make some, or you want to iterate through each and every element in a array, but you don't want to return a new array, then it's fine. Another thing is that for each does not support a chaining as such because it doesn't return anything, right? So if you want to chain some operation, you have to use map and then you can chain after that. For filter, yeah, so filter just takes in a condition. If the condition is true, then it returns. So I greater than 2. Sorry, it's map. So I'll just change this to filter. Oh, I greater than 2. So if I put a greater than 2, I should get 3 and 4. All right. So any kind of condition wherever this is true, it works. Reduce, it kind of makes everything into a single thing. So anywhere you want to reduce the array into a single output, then reduce seems like a good option to use. Yeah, then for loops, while, do while, etc. All of that. These are basic loop statements. So make sure you're writing your loop statements properly. While and for loops should do most of your work. Now I think I should focus on, we'll go to scopes later. All right, so let's do arrays. All right, now you should know how to declare, many ways to declare the same array. So this is an empty array. If you use new array, you can define the size in it. So this creates an array as such. If you do dot fill, if you keep a size 1 and then do a fill, it returns that. If you have 10 of them, it returns this. All right, so it's up to you, but be careful. If you put a 1, 2, 3 like this, it is different. It's going to create something like this. All right. Now, another important question is sometimes they ask you what the difference between an array and an object is. So it's very important to understand sometimes. I've seen that some people make mistakes here. Arrays are key value pairs. Arrays are index value pairs. Index value. So for each value, there is an index associated with it. Array, end of the day in JavaScript, is actually another object. All right, it is a special type of object. So if you do console.log of type of to array equal to type of to object, or let's create a new object, or I'll just create an object here. It'll give you true. That's because the value is true, because both are objects. right? So we have covered basics of arrays, declaration, accessing. You should be able to create your own 2D arrays and 3D arrays. So 2D arrays, creating 2D arrays from, let's say, a given size of m cross n. You should be able to write your own function which creates those arrays. You should understand what 3D arrays are, how to make 3D arrays as such. You should also know maybe a transpose of an array. So if given an m across n array, you should be able to make it an n cross m array. Sometimes an important question, especially for simple data structures rounds. All right, so you guys already know how to loop through an array. One is through for loops, right? You can also use your higher order functions as such. So a couple of reasons why for loops make sense sometimes is if you want to skip a few items. I think there is one method which is there in arrays which you can skip instead of starting from 0. You can skip and do a iteration. I don't remember the method. I think it's there. But generally, these are higher order functions. So if you're more towards function programming and writing uh, uh, pure functions as such, it makes sense to use these kind of methods, and especially chaining. If you want to do, it makes sense to use these methods. Otherwise, if for simplistic terms, you can use for loops also.